Just say you hate basketball. Some people say the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. Some people say it's play cornerback. But I truly think the hardest thing to do in sports is be a fan of the New York Knicks. We all have heard the term, the Knicks Gon Knick. And it seemed to be something my dad understood early on because no one around us could understand why he wasn't picking the Knicks to win Game 7 of the 1994 final. And when the Knicks lost, he all of a sudden couldn't get anybody on the phone. And I felt the exact same way when no one could understand why I didn't want Carmelo Anthony to come to our team. I've waited 15 years for redemption. Amari Stoudemire just gave it to me.
When I first got to New York, I wanted to go to a place, first of all, I was raised in New York, right? I moved to New York in the 3rd grade. I was there until high school, basically. So I was familiar with New York, but then also D'Antoni was there. And so I felt like it was a great reunite situation to go to New York. And I knew D'Antoni would let me play my game, right? A lot of people at that time thought I was only a pick and roll guy and I only could do these things. And I'm like, that's far from the truth. So when I got to New York, I knew D'Antoni would allow me to play my full game. And that's what I was able to accomplish that first half of that season. And I was playing team basketball. I was getting everybody involved with Wilson Chandler, Raymond Felton, Gallinari. All these guys were playing, having career years. And then once we brought in another superstar like Carmelo, he requires a lot of attention. So when Melo comes to our team, the ball it's not moving as much because Melo requires a lot of attention. He's one of the offensive greats. So when he gets to basketball, he's looking to score. And so a lot of the cohesiveness somewhat faded away during that time. And then I also started suffering some injuries, year 2, year 3, battling back and forth. And that's kind of how things panned out throughout that time in New York. We tried our best, we gave it all we got, and we just couldn't get over the hump.
And that's exactly what I said when the Knicks made the trade. I knew the Knicks weren't ready to win a championship yet or anything like that, but we were definitely on the way. Amari was top 5 in MVP voting before he got hurt, and he still has the Knicks record for most consecutive 30-point games. And I understand there were injuries, but us having superstar syndrome is ultimately what led us to only making the playoffs 2 times in the 7 years that Melo was there. So excuse me for being the hater in the room that laughs at the notion of getting a statue or even getting his jersey retired. Clearly Denver answered that question quick. And this was in 2010, but of course the theme of this is the Knicks Gon Knick. So can you imagine how I felt when Julius Randle literally brought us from the depths of hell and we traded him?
Do you believe that the New York Knicks need a #1 option to go along with Brunson in order to come out of the East next year?
What is Randle? Man, Julius Randle is a 25-10 guy in this
I love
league.
Randle, but he ain't a #1 option though.
You tripping.
I'm not tripping.
And he grew his game with the 3 ball. Man, y'all tripping on Julius Randle. Julius Randle's one of the harder guards in this mud. And he left-handed. Got a 3 ball, you can play make. Because you know what happens when you bring in a superstar, you bring somebody else, you got to intertwine him in with the fabric of what the Knicks are. The Knicks are gritty, they gruddy, they play for 48 to hear you. They kids. If you can't fit that, the Knicks are perfect. The Knicks should not be touched. Let's run this 2 years with this team and then talk about that superstar shit later.
Now, as upset as I was when the Julius Randle trade rumor started, I posted this in 2023 because Giannis was the only person I was willing to trade Julius Randle for. If I can get 25 and 10 from Julius Randle, there's no reason to trade him because most power forwards aren't doing better than that. But yeah, I would have traded him for Giannis, and look at the rumors now. But just like I was with Amari and Wilson Chandler and Raymond Felton, I was ready to ride with these guys. They were 11-1 before Jaime Jaquez Jr. purposely injured Julius Randle. We end up losing in the semis because we were injured, but no big deal. Next year's up and we're going to be a problem in the East. 1 week before training camp, the basketball court at the Earl Monroe New Renaissance Basketball School gets named after Julius Randle. It was to honor his financial and community support for the school. The campaign was called 30 for 3. To me, this signified that Julius Randle was ingrained in the city. He raised over $1.3 million for the school's literacy program. It is literally deeper than basketball now. And then he gets traded for a guy that I have been making fun of for a decade. And they took Dante too. No, seriously, I don't think you get it. Like, I literally wrote a diss record for Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns apology letter, right?
Damn, this shit exclusive.
Okay. I am sorry. Homies hit me up asking Howie, where your bars at? Fall back asking me these questions. You should call Cat and ask him where his balls at. I'm just spitting all facts, thinking he gonna take us to a ring. Nah, I'm off that, but I never been on that. He don't want this combat. Anybody thinking he a beast, better calm that. Tibbs had him back in Minnesota. Remember all that? Jimmy took the third string and made him give his ball back. This nigga's not tough. This nigga's not rough. Game on the line, man. This nigga's not clutch. How he gonna go from being soft to getting 30 now? I won't change my mind cause he wearing my team jersey now? No, that's the same guy. Fold up when it's game time, and yeah, I hear all of the excuses. It's the same lines. Tibbs doesn't use the bench. Okay, I'ma go there. Mitchell Robinson is the same as Rudy Gobert, making up for all the shit that Cat can't do. Fully loaded clip. All of a sudden, Cat can't shoot? Yo, I can't understand what this motherfucker do for y'all. I ain't think we traded for a 7-footer shooting guard. Y'all need to stop. Nah, stop. Bodega Cat, but never down on the block. Traded everything we had for the wrong reasons. I just hope we send him packing in the off season.
He's still on the team. So, yeah. And of course, it was bittersweet watching both teams make the conference finals because I had to hear it from Knicks fans that said, see, we made it to the conference finals. But then I said, look, Julius Randle made it to the conference finals too. And if he's so much worse than Cat, then how come he could help Ant get to the exact same place Cat helped him get to the year before? This trade was not needed, and I still feel that way today. And as if it couldn't get any worse, we fired the second best coach we've ever had for no good reason. And it's one thing to fire him, but to not have a plan in place after you fire him, Knicks Gon Knick. Then we just started asking teams for their coach. What? So this ain't the team I want, but it's the team I got. And now that everybody's locked in, if this shit don't work, I want Leon Rose locked up. And that brings me back to the beginning. Who knew that my villain origin story started long before I was born? When you're loyal to the soil and do your research, you see exactly what you've inherited. And because history is cyclical, you see that nothing has changed. Just 3 years after the Knicks won the championship at the ABA-NBA merger, they had a chance to not only have Julius Erving, but to get Moses Malone too. When I show you why they didn't get them, I swear viewer discretion should be advised. The Portland Trailblazers drafted Moses Malone number 5 in the 1976 ABA dispersal draft and then offered him to New York. But GM Eddie Donovan turned Portland down, asking, is he better than backup center John Giannelli? Yep. If you didn't know who John Giannelli was, click the link in my bio and buy some merch, please. Look at it as a donation to compensate me for all the years of misery the Knicks have put me through. And just in case you think Eddie Donovan needed a doctor after making a decision like that, he didn't. Because when the Nets entered the NBA, remember, they were the New York Nets at the time, so they had to pay a $4.8 million territorial fee to the Knicks, and that's on top of a $3.2 million league fee. The Nets said, hey, Eddie, how about we give you Julius Erving instead of paying that $4.8 million fee? Eddie Donovan said, nah, give me the $4.8 million. And you know who didn't say nah? Our neighbors over in Philadelphia. Yep, Knicks Gon Knick. So what did we learn today? That no matter how many games, no matter how much work you put in, no matter the expectations, no matter how good the team chemistry is, no matter the year, the decade, nor time period, the Knicks Gon Knick. And trust me, I am praying for the day they prove me wrong, but I know my team. And I always have so much evidence to come back to prove my point. It's like I just know that every time we take a swing, I just know we're gonna miss. I started this page telling the Knicks the same thing I tell you every day.